Colleagues, at this time, we have our public hearing on the appointment of the following individual as Chief Administrative Officer for Prince George's County, the one and only Tara H. Jackson. And I believe we have the Honorable Angela Arthur Brooks, the Honorable Sheila Tillison Adams, and Bruce Markins, Esquire, to speak on her behalf. At this time, we will hear from Nate Tutt or Howard Stone to give the overview, staff overview. Mr. Stone, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, County Council members. Good to see you today, and I also extend that to our county executive and our new CAO.
Howard, I'm interrupting you, Howard. You forgot the Chief Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Chief Judge Sheila Tillison Adams. I do and give all respect. So thank you, Mr. Chair. The Prince George's County Council, sitting as the Committee of the Whole, convened on February 18, 2021, to consider the appointment of Tara Jackson to become Chief Administrative Officer of Prince George's County, Maryland. She has been serving as acting Chief Administrative Officer since December 4, 2020. Ms. Jackson has a stellar career, having over 25 years of administrative, legal, and county government experience. She began her career in Prince George's County serving as an assistant state's attorney. Ms. Jackson was in private practice from 2000 to 2007, representing criminal and civil litigants in complex cases in both federal and state court. Serving as principal deputy state's attorney, Ms. Jackson led nearly 100 attorneys and 100 staff persons responsible for prosecuting more than 70,000 criminal cases from 2010 to 2017. While serving as deputy CAO for government operations, she managed the daily operations of the county government by directing and implementing policies, programs, and procedures. Ms. Jackson received her Bachelor of Science degree from James Madison University, her Juris Doctorate from the University of Maryland, and her Master of Divinity in Leadership and Development from Phoenix University. Ms. Jackson is also a member of numerous professional organizations, including Leadership Greater Washington, and she is also a noted presenter at many seminars across the county. During the Committee of the Whole, Ms. Jackson spoke of her empathy for others and expressed her expertise in governmental procedures and processes. After discussion, the Prince George's County Council, sitting as Committee of the Whole, voted the appointment of Tara Jackson out favorably 11-0. That concludes staff report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Colleagues, at this time, I'm honored and humbled to present to you Tara H. Jackson.
Ms. Brewer.
Tara, or would you like county?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miriam, Mrs. Brewer. I forgot to call on you. Please go forth. I apologize.
That's okay. Actually, the county executive is going to do the introduction of Ms. Jackson, followed by her speakers, and then Ms. Jackson will speak afterwards.
That's okay.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Vice Chair, and members of the council. I am proud to nominate Tara Jackson to serve as Chief Administrative Officer for Prince George's County government. Ms. Jackson is no stranger to service. She has a long and distinguished career working on behalf of the residents of Prince George's County. Since the beginning of December 2020, Ms. Jackson has served as acting Chief Administrative Officer. And before that, Ms. Jackson was the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Government Operations. Prior to joining my administration in 2018 as DCAO for Government Operations, Ms. Jackson served as the Deputy County Attorney for Government Operations in the Prince George's County Office of Law, and thereby gained valuable experience advising county government. I'm so proud to work with Ms. Jackson here at the head of county government and in the state's attorney's office from 2010 to 2017. As the principal deputy state's attorney in my office, Mrs. Jackson was responsible for the day-to-day operations of a team of more than 100 attorneys and 100 staff responsible for prosecuting more than 70,000 crimes every year. Ms. Jackson holds a Bachelor of Science from James Madison University, a Juris Doctorate from the University of Maryland School of Law, and a Master of Divinity in Leadership Development from Phoenix Seminary. She's a proud member of the First Baptist Church of Upper Marlboro, where she serves as the women's ministry teacher. Mrs. Jackson's education demonstrates her qualifications for Chief Administrative Officer and showcases her commitment to her faith. As a churchgoer myself, I've known this for many years, and I recall a discussion we had at the beginning of my tenure as state's attorney. Mrs. Jackson came to my office and she was so excited to share her ideas on how we should focus our work. And she wanted the administration to exude salt and light. Salt acts as a healing agent. It brings down the temperature in the environment. And so we worked with that in mind, providing valuable services to residents that we knew we could provide in the best and highest way possible. At the same time, it was our design to attract others with the quality of our work and our deeds, guiding the residents of Prince George's County, who we swore to protect, and this was the light. During our years at the state's attorney's office, Mrs. Jackson held firm to this principle, and as a result, she helped us accomplish so much for our residents. Her work was a guiding light. Who could have imagined that two women growing up 5 miles away from each other as children, right here in Prince George's County? Mrs. Jackson and I both grew up in the Temple Hills, Camp Springs area. But who could have imagined that our paths would cross at such an important time? During the COVID-19 transition to telework, Mrs. Jackson stuck to her principles in the face of uncertainty. She helped to make sure that our employees were safe while continuing to provide essential and life-saving services to our residents. I know that she was able to do this because just like I do, Mrs. Jackson cares so deeply about Prince Georgians, many of whom are her friends and her family. Mrs. Jackson has certainly has the experience and wisdom required to serve as the Chief Administrative Officer for Prince George's County government. But what sets her apart is the example that she sets for her colleagues. In any situation and through every trial and with each test, Mrs. Jackson never stops asking the question, what's right, what's honest, what's fair, what is true? And with irrevocable integrity and hard work, she has impressed us all. Now it is her time. And I have no doubt that she will bring the same high level of integrity, focus, and preparation as Chief Administrative Officer that she brings to everything she does. In short, Mrs. Jackson is the salt and light of our county that our county needs during this difficult time. There's a time for everything, and now truly is her season. I know she'll do an excellent job for Prince Georgians, continuing to serve our community that she's been a part of for her entire life. I know that she's the right person to help our community heal, progress, and move forward. And for these reasons and so many more, I ask that you confirm Tara Jackson as Chief Administrative Officer for Prince George's County. And I must also note that that your confirmation today will make her only the second woman in Prince George's County's history to serve as Chief Administrative Officer. Through her tireless efforts, Mrs. Jackson has proven that she is the ideal choice for this position and for all Prince Georgians. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, the Honorable Sheila Tillotson Adams. May we hear from you now?
Good afternoon, Councilman Hawkins and distinguished members of the Prince George's County Council. It gives me great pleasure today to speak on behalf of Tara Harrison Jackson. Now, early in 1996, I was a district court judge, sitting primarily in Hyattsville. By this time in my judicial career on the district court, I had presided over hundreds of cases and seen many young prosecutors come and go. Then one day, I was forced to take note in a different way. not just of the facts and evidence that were being presented during the course of the trial, but of the presence of the prosecutor commanded in the courtroom. I thought, wow, today they're sending the experienced team in here to handle these cases. So at the end of the case, I asked her to approach the bench, and to my surprise, I learned that Ms. Tara Harrison, now Jackson, was a new prosecutor in the office. But oh, I knew then that there was nothing typical about her. She was sharp, talented, fierce, tactical, with a quiet, non-assuming, understated demeanor that should never be underestimated. As expected, she quickly rose in the office and handled some of the most complex and gruesome criminal matters indicted in the state's attorney's office during that time period. By then, I had been elevated to the circuit court, so I again witnessed the dynamic litigator she had become. By 2000, she had mastered the criminal arena from the public sector and had experienced a tragic personal loss. So it was time to move on. So she did, with glowing recommendations to the firm of Marcus and Bonsip, where she became their secret weapon. Although exposed to many different case types, it was clear that there wasn't anything that she could not handle. Then after 7 years, she shocked us all and announced in her own deliberate and resolved way that she was moving to Arizona and nurturing her spiritual side by pursuing a degree in divinity in leadership development. And she left, which created a void in our legal community. But Tara evolved and returned rejuvenated as the principal deputy state's attorney during Ms. Alsobrook's first term as state's attorney, and she did not disappoint. She knew the office, what skills were needed, how to collaborate with the bench, law enforcement, and other justice partners to get the job done. She had honed in on those newly perfected leadership skills and was masterful. She also knew how to make the hard decisions. The last case she tried before me, before she left the state's attorney's office for the second time, was a brutal 40-year-old murder case that had to be retried due to a decision of the Court of Appeals that vacated a series of convictions because of an improper jury instruction. Now, many wondered, why would you retry this case when the defendant had already served 40 years? Well, Tara answered that question clear and unequivocally as she transported the courtroom back to 1972 during the course of this trial, reliving this brutal murder with such raw emotion as if it had just occurred, and elicited statements of no remorse and justification from the defendant, which solidified that 40 years was not enough. So Tara has a unique ability to see the big picture. She possesses humility, patience, compassion, and competence. She studies hard, listens, seeks advice, and learns. She left the state's attorney's office and became the deputy county attorney for government operations, a position where you really get to see how this government operates. There's truly no better education into county government than the Office of Law, and I know that personally, because you see and touch everything. Then as deputy county administrative officer from December 2018 to December 2020, heading the reopening of this county through the pandemic, she became fully immersed in county government. She has proven that she is ready to be the administrative head of this county. She loves this county, its people, and its hard-working employees. Her years as a prosecutor have given her a unique perspective on some of the darker issues the community faces, but has also fueled her resolve to create, along with Ms. Alsobrooks, a Prince George's County we can all be proud of. Tara is a wife, an amazing mother, a daughter loved by her mother and adored by her late father, a friend, a confident professional, and a dedicated public servant that we are fortunate to have served the citizens of Prince George's County. I respectfully urge your confirmation of Tara H. Jackson as the Chief Administrative Officer for Prince George's County. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Adams. At this time, colleagues, we will have words from that one who's recognized as an attorney's attorney, the one that nothing happens in the state of Maryland without coming through his office. That is no other than Bruce L. Marcus.
Thank you very much, Chairman Hawkins. I don't know what I've done to appreciate or deserve those comments, but I do appreciate them. And members of the County Council, good afternoon. County Executive also Brooks, my friend Judge Tillerson Adams, honored guests, friends, Paul, if he is somewhere in earshot, and other family members. Today, I have the distinct privilege, the pleasure, and the honor to address this council to offer my unconditional support for Tara Harrison Jackson, nominee of the County Executive for Chief Administrative Officer. One of the problems that I face is I was told I had 2 minutes. Trial lawyer being given 2 minutes to give an address is probably one of the most impossible things imaginable. Trial lawyer can't say hello in 2 minutes. But fortunately, you have heard, and all of you presumably know about Tara's qualifications and her history, all of which speak to the reasons why this council should unanimously confirm Tara for the office of Chief Administrative Officer. In listening to the accounts given by our county executive and Judge Tillerson Adams, Tara's accomplishments kind of read like a dizzying array of trials, tribulations, and most of all, accomplishment. Assistant State's Attorney, successful trial lawyer in the public sector, the Deputy State's Attorney, the Deputy County Attorney, the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, a faith-based leader, a trusted advisor to elected and public officials in every branch of government, and now as the Chief Administrative Officer. And I would be remiss if I did not echo the sentiments of Judge Tillerson Adams that one of her greatest achievements and accomplishments is as a mother and a wife. I had the good fortune to spend years with Tara, and I will talk a little bit about that in a second. I am confident that given her long history with the county, that each of you has had personal experiences and opportunities to work with Tara and to gauge the measure of what a person she is. Tara is one of the most humble and capable people that I know. She's one of those people who doesn't have to try or seek to impress. She exudes integrity, exudes character, exudes intelligence, humility, honesty, and simply put, just plain old common decency. All of us know, and this council probably better than most, that these are some of the most troubling times that any of us have ever seen, and the same would be true for our forebearers. This council, like governments throughout the country, is grappling with issues the likes of which none of us have ever seen, let alone tried to manage. In confronting a pandemic of epic proportion with the attendant disruption to our daily lives, including in no particular order, providing for the health and safety of our citizens, as we heard just before these proceedings, reopening the schools, restoring our economy, and addressing issues and reforms in public safety are daunting, if not seemingly insurmountable. Difficult times call for the best of us to come forward and accept leadership responsibilities. The need for strong, confident, calm, measured, devoted, and capable leadership has never been more important or greater. I met Tara when she was a young prosecutor. I was impressed from the outset. Some years later, she condescended and agreed to come over here to Greenbelt and spend time with us for a number of years. She was a prosecutor. She was new. And early in her career, I asked her to become involved in a case that was very, very difficult. And I will confess that I gave her an assignment in probably her first trial in the private sector to examine a witness who I couldn't even begin to figure out what needed to be done to cross-examine the witness. And Tara got up, composed, confident, and strategic, and began a cross-examination that had me literally grabbing the arm of my chair. What is she doing? How is she going about this cross-examination? What will the jury think? And I held my breath for what seemed to be 20 minutes. In short order, in her first outing, Tara had seized the moment, examined the witness, and essentially rendered the witness's testimony meaningless. To say the least, the case was won for a client who was very, very grateful, and for an older lawyer who saw the measure of what kind of lawyer Tara really is. She and I spent years traipsing around the countryside in discussions and watching her grow. She has prepared herself from the earliest days of her professional career for this moment. In education at James Madison, at the University of Maryland in Baltimore, at the Phoenix Academy, as a lawyer in public service and private service, and more recently as a government official. She is the right person at this most critical juncture. This is her time, and I assure each and every one of you, she is thoroughly prepared. As the Chief Administrative Officer, we all recognize that she is going to be at the forefront of the government's efforts to continue the battle against the pandemic. Working closely with somebody gives you ideas about how they will handle difficult situations. What is the mettle of the person? And trying serious cases where the stresses of the moment tend to take over, I got to watch Tara handling very, very difficult scenarios in very difficult situations, and she did not blink. She was always thoughtful, studied, never impulsive, nor was she prone to hyperbole, nor was she a victim of grandstanding. In the face of fire, in the face of difficulty, Tara has always been a person whose calm, patient, measured, and deliberate strategic approach to problem solving has proven to be a recipe for success. When you see her in proceedings like this or in a courtroom, one of the things that is absolutely striking is the ability of a lawyer to either elevate the level of the dialogue or the discourse, to elevate the solemnity and the seriousness of the proceeding. And when a lawyer is able to do that, everyone takes note. Judge Tillerson Adams told you about her immediate recognition of Tara's capabilities and her wisdom and experience that belied her years in practice. I learned very quickly that if I was in a fight or I was in a struggle, Tara's the one who I wanted by my side when the going got tough. Now, there are some of us who have had experience in county government in years gone by. And I, as well as every single one of you, are aware that the position of Chief Administrative Officer is one of the most challenging in public service. As the titular head of government operations, the county Chief Administrative Officer is essentially responsible for the day-to-day operation of the county's government and its services. The good news about that kind of position, like county executive also brooks each one of you and Tara, is that you know that on one day you will be revered, and maybe by the end of the day you'll be reviled. Sometimes it happens on a quicker basis. One of the issues that comes up is the role of the county executive in dealing with council. and that is something that is part of government. This council should take comfort in the fact that Tara is a person who well appreciates the role of government, the immense gravity of her position, and she will discharge her duties with equanimity and fairness to those in need, as well as those who may challenge, some more vigorously than others, the decisions that she will need to make on behalf of the government. Over the last 4 years, we have borne witness and learned about people in leadership positions. There are those who boast loudly and forcefully, claiming qualities of leadership. Simply by claiming that you are a leader does not make you one. In truth, very few great leaders are possessed of one of Tara's most outstanding attributes, and that is the ability to lead by example. In Tara's case, her poise, her grace, her patience, her civility, her respect for others, and the willingness to listen and engage make her the perfect choice to be our next Chief Administrative Officer. She is indeed a special breed of leader who leads by example. Now, if it sounds like I'm gushing with pride and admiration, it's because I am. I know that Tara has taken the time that was necessary to educate herself for this position. I know that she studied in order to take this job after she was fully prepared to accept the responsibilities that were associated with that. I'm going to suggest to the council that in Tara, you will have a colleague and partner who will always try her level best to reach the best result for the county in a collaborative, respectful, reasoned, and thoughtful way. And without further ado, Chairman Hawkins, members of the council, I respectfully commend to you Tara Jackson as the next Prince George's County Chief Administrative Officer. Thank you.
Yes, I believe it's my time. Is that right,
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Marion?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. All right. Well, I tell you, for those of you who, you may not know this about me, but I'm prone to shed a few tears. So, bear with me. I'm truly humbled to be before you this morning as you consider the county executive's nomination of me to the position of Chief Administrative Officer of this great county that I call home. County Executive, thank you so much for recognizing the leader, the administrator in me, and for asking me to take on this new role of service. As you know better than anyone, public service is not always easy, and it certainly can require the best of you. It can be trying, but it is so rewarding. Throughout the years that we have served together, I have watched you and am frankly amazed at the care and concern that you maintain for each and every citizen that you come in contact with, especially those that will never get a seat at the table. Thank you again. I cannot say thank you enough for granting me the opportunity to use the gifts that God has given me, the experiences that I've had to serve the citizens of Prince George's County. To Judge Adams, well, to first of all, to Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, and Madam Vice Chair, let me back up and just say, and to the esteemed members of this council, thank you for considering me. Thank you for working with me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for the conversations that we have had in years past and in recent weeks. I look so forward, if I am honored to serve you as Chief Administrative Officer, I look so forward to continuing to work with you. Judge Tillison Adams, I tell you, thank you for pulling this 25-year-old aside and saying you did a good job. I'm rooting for you. It means a lot. You are a phenomenal administrator, and your passion for the work you do is contagious. And I only hope to be half of the administrator that you have been. Bruce, thank you to you and Bob for seeing potential in me and for giving me an opportunity to hone my trial skills. But you know what, even more than that, you modeled for me what work ethic looks like in the professional sphere. You took on every case, no matter how small the DUI was, you worked hard for that particular client. And the attention to detail was phenomenal. And so I want you all to know that I pay attention to detail. And no matter how hard or how small some may think the issue is, I will work towards a resolution. There are so many people that I'm hoping are on this call and able to witness this, be a part of this occasion with me. And I cannot thank everyone. There are a cadre of friends and family who have supported me on the way, along the way. Our chief of staff, who I've known for many, many years. My special assistant, Kalisa Smith, who has just been my right hand in the last several years. My stepfather, my siblings, I could go on and on and on. I've got to mention my mother because she has done a lot for me in the last 50 years. 50, oh my goodness. But most important is she has taught me the importance of having a relationship with Jesus. And I'm going to tell you that that has made me who I am as a person and who I am as a professional. I will continue to work hard if you select me. I cannot forget Paul and Josiah. You know, we are Team Jackson. It's not always pretty, but it gets done. Thank you, Paul, for your support and your love over the last 10 years. God has definitely put us together for a reason, and it is because of you that I can do this work. Members of the council, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, as CAO, I will have the opportunity to continue to do good in a way different from in any other position in which I have served. Just before I got on this call, the Lieutenant Governor was speaking to you about the vaccination effort, and there is so much work to be done. I know that. But I will commit to you that as it relates to that effort and any other effort that this county faces in my hopeful tenure as Chief Administrative Officer, that I will work hard. You will not have to question my work ethic. I will endeavor to make solid decisions. I will make the tough decisions. I will be responsive. I will pay attention to detail. I will respect my colleagues. And I will maintain my integrity. As a public servant, we desire, I think all of us, to leave the positions that we serve in, the place in which we serve, in a better place than where we found it. And I only hope in years to come that I'll be able to do just that and to look back and hear you say, Tara, you've done a good job, and to hear God say as well, well done. Thank you for this opportunity and I'm honored, and I will serve you to the best of my abilities. Thank you.
Ooh, Tara, the moving finger writes and having written, it moves on. Colleagues, my difficult challenge is who will I acknowledge to make this powerful, impactful motion?
Mr. Chairman, you need to close out the public hearing first.
Okay.
Heard.
Is there a motion to confirm?
I'd like to make a motion in spite of Mr. Marcus's comments. Mr. Marcus and I are friends go way back, and it's very pleasing to hear his comments. I make a motion for confirmation.
Second.
So I feel to say that this public hearing has been held.
I renew my motion.
Okay.
Second.
We received the motion from Tom DeNoga, a second from Jolene Ivy, so that we don't go through what
That was overlooked, but that's okay. I'll leave it there.
Vice Chair. I
It's
love you, Vice Chair.
okay.
Leadership, Vice Chair, leadership. I apologize, but I thought you would be the one to forgive me. At this time, colleagues, there's been a motion, there's been a second. Any discussion on the motion? Councilmember Ivy?
I know I could do this while we were voting, but I did want to make a point of saying how the first I got to know of Tara is when she became, when Glenn hired her before he left as state's attorney. He did it at the request of the incoming state's attorney, Angela Also Brooks. They decided it would be a good way to transition her into the office. And Glenn came home, just couldn't say enough good things about Tara Jackson. So I was already kind of primed to like her, and I know that his good judgment has been seen through to this day. So I'm looking forward to voting to confirm her.
Are there any further additional comments? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Hawkins,
I want to say so much, but it's all been said. Tara, you have my heart. I vote aye.
Ms. Anderson Walker,
I vote aye. Looking forward to working with you on this level.
Mr. Davis,
Hard to keep me quiet, but after Madam County Executive, the Honorable Judge Tillerson Adams, and the inimitable Mr. Marcus, it's nothing more to be said. Tara, everything that's been said about you, I've observed in our short relationship, and I'm looking forward to you bringing all of that talent to Prince George's County to keep us on track, moving in the direction that we've been going. And welcome aboard. I vote absolutely.
Mr. DeNoga, you vote aye. Mr. Franklin,
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It's my privilege to vote aye enthusiastically for Ms. Jackson. I look forward to working with her and to our continued partnership to make Prince George's County second to none. Thank you so much, Madam County Executive, for your wisdom in choosing who I know will be an amazing, historic county administrative officer. I vote aye.
Ms. Claros,
Oh, thank you, Madam Clerk. There's much I could say, but I will keep it really simple. Honored to support Tara Jackson to be the next Chief Administrative Officer. I vote aye.
Mr. Harrison,
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I absolutely vote aye. And I would just say to Ms. Jackson, thank you for your service to our community. Thank you for your service to our county, and continue to lead with the light of love. Thank you.
Ms. Ivy,
Madam Clerk, I vote aye.
Mr. Streeter,
Madam Clerk, I vote aye, and I want to say congratulations to Ms. Jackson. I look forward to our continued partnership, and please leave room for our discussions. All right, vote aye.
Vice Chair Taveras.
Thank you. And I vote aye in explaining my vote. I think I don't think I know. I had some tears in my eyes after all the what I've heard today, singing your praises, but we already knew all of that. It's been a pleasure working with you thus far, and I just see it just improving our working relationship. Do respond to a text that I sent you not too long ago, but because I do want to follow up on that. But other than that, I just want to say congratulations, and I look forward to working with you. And you are the excellent choice for this role at this time for the county. So I applaud you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Mr. Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I'm the last one to vote. Can I dissent? No, just kidding. Jackson, I've got to know you over the last several years, and everything that was said about you today, I've been able to see and experience even in our short relationship. And to Madam County Executive, congratulations on your selection. I don't know if you had this all planned all along, but I think bringing her along from her various positions during the course of time has prepared you, Tara, for the challenges and opportunities that face you going forward. And so with that, I vote aye, and I also say go nonstop 2017.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you. Thank you.
Phenomenal woman. Go for it.